Okay, so it's Friday. Evo started for Undernight. Most of the brackets happening today on Friday, and funnily enough, during these random ads between sets for games and day one at Evo, Izumi trailer dropped. So I'm just chilling in bed, having a chill Friday. I open Discord and I see that we already have Izumi's release date. The trailer's out, but it's only on Twitch. There is no YouTube video yet, so we're gonna have to suffer to watch some of this trailer. I've never seen it. Something I want to talk about before I get into the video is I want to follow this short little format where I actually do the analysis, and then I want to talk about the release date of the character. Why is it August 19th, like we just saw? And then I want to kind of talk about what he could reveal for Evo. The analysis is the forefront of the video still. So let's get into that. I'm going to admit, it's a little spooky watching their mouths move because I'm not used to that. I don't think I've seen their mouths move before this in Chronicles or anything else. But I do want to mention that Elfie's voice jump scared me. I was not ready for Elfie to sound like that, and I also wasn't ready for it to be kind of like a Pokemon, which is really funny because me and Defiant were asked what is our wish list and what we think Izumi will be, and we essentially just described a Pokemon trainer. That's all we did. Is we were just like, yeah, she's gonna have Waterfall and Surf and Bubble Beam. She's gonna have a bubble move, which was really funny because Elfie sounding like this is like something would happen in the anime. The other thing that they do in this trailer is they do a lot of fish puns. Kind of expected something like that, but I don't know if it's going to be in the game that much. So in this first clip, we can see something really cool. So Izumi starts off in install. So like most characters, they have an icon that shows kind of like an install or a debuff. And Izumi starts off with her install. Install is very simply designed. Any Elfie move that hits you will give her the install. Install does a lot though. So it will not only change her FF from the lawn DP to a Bridal Express move, it will also add an extra move to her Rekka. It might add extra hit stun to Elfie moves. I don't really know everything it does, but I know the main things that it does. And we're going to actually see that immediately start the trailer. So she summons Elfie's little fish to do a bubble beam. And then right after the bubble beam, she uses her install force function. That install force function that she uses right after allows her to get right in front of her opponent. Yeah, she gets to do a double overhead after the install FF. That's a little tricky. Obviously not something that would be too tricky, but we'll see some more a little bit later. In the second clip, we get to see her 2-2. So her 2-2 is, as we saw in overhead, there's probably 3 ranges of it. The 2-2A one is very close, the 2-2B one's a little bit further out, and then 2-2C will likely track on 2-2. I wouldn't be too shocked if it did, and I would say expect the track. I would expect it to track if I was you. So that's a pretty strong tool, honestly, having a tracking overhead. And it seems fast enough. Obviously, even if it's a really fast overhead for the EX version, I think the EX version is 18 frames or something. I'm not expecting it to hit anyone because it's an EX flash. People are just going to react to that. Just like with Fun on 2-2C, people just react to the actual EX flash in the block. So it's not this unblockable, insane overhead. But it's pretty good. That's a pretty good tool to have. Stuff like Hill Depend are very strong at controlling cycle from mid-range. So very good move. And then you see it automatically pops them up out of the ground into a full combo. In the third clip, we get to see EX Bubble. So what is the difference between normal bubble and EX Bubble? First off is the size, obviously. The EX Bubble is twice as big, but it also bounces an extra time. So that extra bounce gives her a lot of time to do a second mix-up or a more flashier mix-up than she would get off the normal one. The normal one is pretty good as is, But the EX one is amazing. And you get to see that after the EX bubble, she does her FF into a left-right. This game has pretty specific rules on cross-up protection. Usually when you're not in block stun like this, it's pretty easy to cross someone up. Obviously, the characters can't really... They're not all designed to do cross-up stuff. Izumi seems specifically designed to do stuff like this, and it's shown off in the trailer for a reason. It probably won't be too fast to where it's unreactable, but it'll be probably fast enough to disorientate people. Like, I'm not expecting there to be a same side that's fast enough to make people get hit, but it'll still be a pretty good mix-up to do. So to get hit cross-up here, and she does an extra move after the FF. I really can't tell what this extra move is. It looks like it's just a follow-up of force function. It could be another move, but it looks like a follow-up of FF. I'm not going to say it's an overhead, but I will not write it off as being a mid just yet. It could be an overhead. It looks like one. I don't think she has any grounded overheads, actually. So giving her an overhead on FF could be a good trade-off, you know. It feels like Kamone really wants her mix-ups to be within force function. He wants you to spin grid to do something. If you have to spin grid to do an overhead too, then I would not be shocked. In this clip, we get to see something so interesting. Her force function, which we knew would give her install, this is one of her LFE moves that give her install, it actually lets her combo, which is really, really weird. It's an actual DP when she doesn't have install. So the DP allowing her to combo when it anti-airs or hits high is an insane thing, because that means anytime you need to install to do a combo, or anytime you anti-air or you see someone jumping in the CS and they're in range to get hit by it, you can just get a full combo. And that's not a trait a lot of characters have. This one seems about as lenient as Tsurugi's, so I'm pretty interested in seeing what are the ranges that lets her do meterless combos and which ones aren't, how consistent it is, because that is very good. And I'm also curious if the invincibility ruins the duration of a combo. So is this something you only do when you really, really need it, or is this something you can just do whenever you want? You'll get the grid back no matter what. Like, the game is very much designed to let you FF in combos and get your grid back. I'm pretty interested in how this would actually affect her routes. And then in the last clip, we don't really have much to talk about that we haven't seen in that last clip. We've already known about the Rekkas and the increased 5C. And then for the first time, we get to see her IWEX in HD. This is her Z move. The Izumi Z move. She even does a little dance like the Pokemon trainers do before they do the Z move. Then she gave it a name. With that, we can actually talk about the next part, which is the release date. This release date is 2 weeks after EVO. My assumption is that he wants to do a bigger balance patch than he did with Izuki. So Izuki came out right after EVO. This is 2 weeks later. And that could only mean that there's some more stuff he wants to do before he patches the game. It's only reasonable to assume that it's going to have to do with the balance changes, and that's why we're waiting 2 weeks. As for why this was shown randomly at EVO, I actually don't know. I don't know if it was a mistake from the EVO staff, like whoever's running the stream, or if it was just in the reel from the beginning and Kamone allowed it to be played on stream. But we don't even have the video on YouTube or anything. The official channels have not released the trailer. We're just looking at it from the stream. The fact that Kamone put it in the reel though, or like allowed them to, that could mean that after top 8 for Uni, we might be getting something different from the Izumi trailer. We could potentially be getting Season 2 pass or something. I doubt he's going to show patch notes because, again, it's going to be 2 weeks before we even get the patch. So I don't think we're getting patch notes. If anything, we might get Izumi trailer and then a bonus part that shows off the next characters or like a next character. But for now, we don't know yet. Aside from that, I do want to say that I will be covering everything this weekend. I will be watching the Izumi matches with Kamone and top players and Kamone and Raito. And whatever stream Kamone does between those matches, I will also cover and talk about. So this is not the only Izumi content I will make. I will continue to make Izumi content throughout the weekend. I will try to cover almost all of it. I don't think any of the players at EVO are going to do the demos and upload stuff from the demos. Maybe they'll talk about it in Discord, but first demo seems to have covered most of the stuff that we could find. So we're kind of just waiting for Kamone to do the streams. You know, Kamone streams this weekend will be interesting, and I will cover them. So look forward to that.